Hello, in this video we're looking at Bodhicaryavatara, chapter 6, verse 3. By the way, apologies, in this title page that's in front of you now, on verses 1 and 2 of this, I had changed Virya from the previous one we were doing, chapter 7, to Kshanti as here, but I'd forgotten to change the Devanagari. It is now corrected, so instead of Virya, I've correctly put Kshanti here. Right. Manah shaman nagrihnati na priti sukhamashnute na nidran nadritinyati dvesha shalye hridistite. And again with the text up. Oops, here we are. Manah shaman nagrihnati na priti sukhamashnute na nidran nadritim yati dvesha shalye hridistite. Manah, the mind, na grihnati, literally does not take. Shamam, it's the accusative of shamah, which is calm or peacefulness. Many of you will know that word from the shamatha in Pali, samatha, meditation. It's from the, let me call up iPad. There we are. From the root sham, calm, peacefulness. We have the word we've just seen in this text, shama, just the equivalent noun form, just being calm, peacefulness. We have shamatha, it's more like the act of calming. I think in Tibetan, they have a phrase, I don't know Tibetan, but they have a phrase which is translated into English as calm abiding, which may be that same one. Also, we have the well-known word shanti, meaning peace. Note that there are certain roots in that if a T is added, the becomes a long an. For example, kram, to step, kranta, stepped, sham, shanta, peaceful, shanti, the noun peace. So manah shaman nagrihnati, the root here, I'm writing, root here is originally grub, and it also makes the form gra. And it's exactly the same as our English grab, griffen in German, Persian gereftan, geref, grip, grab, grub, it's all that same root. It is a class 9 verb, which means that it adds in the strong cases, the strong parts of the conjugation, ana, and it also takes a samprasarana, which is the softening of the ra reverting to a r, to a vocalic r. So that's why you have not, it would, if it were without some prasarana, would be grahnati, Of course, with the subdotted N, because the preceding R and the H does not block the retroflexing of it, so grihnati. But because of the samprasarana, the softening of this syllable before the stressed syllable, which is why it becomes grihnati. So that accounts for the form grihnati. Manah shaman nagrihnati. Literally, the mind does not take peacefulness or does not obtain it or get it. Napriti sukhamashnute. Ash, the primary meaning of ash is to eat, but the secondary meaning here is to enjoy, and it is a class 5 verb, and so it puts in the middle not an a but a no or a nu. If it's stressed, it's a no. If it's unstressed, it's a nu. It's an atmanepada verb. If it were a parasmapada verb, I think it's either always or almost always atmanepada. If it were parasmapada, it would be ash. I'll separate it out. Ashnoti. However, it's atmanepada, and the ending is stressed, was in the ancient form of the language stressed, so that's where you get ashnute. So ashnoti, ashnute. So this accounts for the ashnute that we see at the first end of the first line. Eats, and then by extension tastes, and then by extension enjoys. So the mind does not get shama, does not get peacefulness. Napriti sukham ashnute, it does not taste or enjoy priti sukham. Priti sukham, this is one of those compounds that could be interpreted in more than one way. It could be a dvandva, and that's what I originally thought and still do think, in the way that I've done it in the written analysis of this, pleasure and / or delight. In other words, one thing and another. You could have put a cha or a va and or in there. So it's just putting two equal things together, A and B or A or B. It could, however, linguistically be a tatpurusha. In other words, it does not taste sukha. Sukha, happiness. What kind of sukha? Priti sukha, the happiness of pleasure or happiness of priti, what in Pali is piti. So it could be either two separate nouns of equal status, priti and sukha, or on another equally valid, linguistically valid, not sure it's so valid for the meaning, but linguistically valid interpretation of that compound. It could be the sukha, happiness. What kind of happiness? Specifically, the priti sukha, the priti kind of happiness, the happiness that comes from priti. So either of those is possible, but from the point of view of the meaning and the flow of the sentence, I'm pretty certain it's meant to be a dvandva compound, so the mind does not taste either priti or sukha, so a dvandva compound. One is not qualifying or defining the other, it's just two items in a list. Nayati nidram. Nidra. The root here actually is dra. And so I haven't written that correctly. Dra. Meaning to sleep. It's not much more common root for sleep is swap. But dra, we have it in Latin, dormire, and into the modern Romance languages as well. dormire, dormir, dormir in French. We have it also it's come into English as dream, and it also exists in the form of drowsy. So dra, dormire, and the modern forms of dormire, dream, drowsy, are all from that same root. And nidra, this is one of those cases where the addition of the verbal prefix doesn't actually make any difference to the meaning. It just means sleep. I think originally it probably meant going into sleep, the act of falling asleep, or the moment of nidra, going into sleep. But it's come to mean just sleep generally. Dhriti, from our root dri, meaning holding, and the word dharma, Pali dhamma, is from that same root. That which is held firm, that which is firm. The idea is that it's solid. Cognate to the Latin word firmus, which has come into English as firm. So when we say firm, in solid, fixed, not moving, that's actually from that same root. Just the derp morphed into a f when it came into Latin. And so from meaning firm or solid, it then came to mean that which truly is the reality of things, which the ultimate meaning of dharma is just what is the true reality of things as they really are. And we can make another form so this is with guna of ri, with the addition of that makes the ri becomes ar, with the suffix ma, dharma. That's how we get dharma. An alternative way, as we know, very well known one, of making a verbal noun is just add ti to the root, dhriti, which is what we have here, nadhritimyati. Dhriti here, the idea is it's kind of security, feeling well secure, well-based, solid firmness, not being shaken about dhriti. So it doesn't enjoy contentment also. It embraces a lot of things. So Nayati, so Nandidram Dhritim Yati. Yate, as we know, that's an alternative form of the root I, meaning to go. So Nayati, it does not go to sleep or contentment, which is just their way of saying it doesn't get any sleep or contentment. Dvesha Shalye Hridi Sthite. This last pada, Dvesha Shalye Hridi Sthite, is a locative absolute. We've got the participle there, the past participle, stita, the dvesha shalya. Well, so just look at shalya and stita. Shalye, stite. The shalya means a barb, it used to mean a thorn. I think that's what it meant originally, but anyway, it's mostly used now as a barb, like the head of an arrow or something that's stuck into you. And of course, in Buddhist literature, it's most commonly used as a figurative expression for a barb or like an arrowhead that's stuck into you. Something is injuring you. You might not feel it at the time, but something is morally injuring you will be described as a shalya. And that's exactly the position here. So the dvesha shalya, dvesha, meaning this hatred, hostility. Locative absolute, with that barb located in the heart, the mind does not, taste any priti sukha, it does not taste shama, it doesn't go to nidra or dhriti. Locative absolute in those circumstances, namely this dvesha shalya, this barb of hatred, hridi sthite, being standing, with the barb of hatred standing. Here it's not standing, just located in, it is there, with the barb of hatred being in the heart, hridi. The word for heart, the older form of the word is just hrid, which is a neuter noun, and more commonly we find hridaya. There's no distinction of meaning there. In most cases, I won't bore you with the details. In most cases, they are all alternative. Well, you can use one for the other, except there are a few cases where you can't. There is the word friend, one word for friend, there are many, of course, is suhrid. Literally good-hearted, somebody whose heart feels good towards you is a friend. This is the hrid form is the consonant declension, and so the locative just add I to it, hridi, hridi, in the heart, which is what we've got in this line. So with the barb of hatred being in the heart, locative absolute, dvesha shalye hridi stite. For the Palaists among you, note there are two words. There's dvesha, which is from dvish, to hate. Dvesha. There is also from the other well-known root, dush, from which we get duh and all that, dukkha and so on. That makes a noun dosha. So you've got dvesha, hatred, and dosha is a fault. Anything that's duh, anything that's bad. Dvesha and dosha, two different words in Sanskrit. However, in form, they have both become dosa in Pali. We would have expected dvesha to have become desa in Pali, but it hasn't. Probably under the influence of the labial w, it's become an o. So when you see dosa in Pali, lobha moha dosa, it could be from either. And in reality, they've kind of merged in meaning in Pali, but in Sanskrit not. So the dvesha shalya, this barb of hatred, or this hatred which is like injures you, like a thorn or an arrowhead or a sharp object stuck into you. So I'll read it again. Manah shaman nagrihnati na priti sukhamashnute nanidran nadritim yati dvesha shalye hridi sthite. Oh, I mentioned this as a locative absolute, the shalye sthite. The hridi is also in the locative, but it's not really part of the locative absolute. That is the original meaning of the locative of place. So hridi, in the heart. The locative absolute is the shalye with the participle stite. So shalye stite is the locative absolute. Hridi happens also to be locative, but that's the locative of position in the heart. So I'll give you the text again. Right. Manah shamanna grihnati na priti sukhamashnute nanidran nadritim yati dvesha shalye hridi stite. And that's it for this verse.